And the guy's like, yeah, I'd love some fine wine. The only problem is, I'm like, you got a cup? He's like, yeah, and the cup is filled with wine. Happens to be, it's like, swag. It's low-level stuff. So you say to the person, maybe you'd like to empty out your cup first. Maybe even wash it out. Like I'm gonna give you some fine stuff. Like a 1974 French blend. Like a mamish bottle. So you can't accept the new wine until you empty out the cup. So something spiritually, Reb Natan is saying, if you want to get higher wine, if you want to get finer stuff, you have to first empty out, and then really you're making space for a higher level experience to happen. Which means, let's say a person never empties out. He never shares with his friend. He's all the time just stuck in something. So then he's preventing higher consciousness from coming into him because he never shared something. Which is a very interesting thing.
Is that why you could think maybe like Avraham Avinu's whole hero idea was you gotta share, it's gotta be Hachmas orphan, you gotta give that other part.
Imagine what Avraham Avinu was receiving because he was always emptying out. He was always sharing and sharing. So he was always making more space for new energy to come into his system. And I think that's also why when a person goes to therapy, there's something to be said that he just talks and he starts feeling better. I told you guys that Rav Willig one time had a client come to him. And, he sat down and Rav Willig said, okay, so, where do we start? What do you want to share? And the guy opened his mouth. He's like, brrr. He spoke for about 55 minutes straight. And Rav Willig was like, just listening. And it was clear he didn't want him to say anything. It was just, and at the end, he did not say one word. And the guy gets up and he was like, that was the best. Like, thank you so much, How much do I owe you? So you might think, like, what did he do? He didn't even say a word. It was by you not doing that you did so much. Because you allowed somebody's space finally to feel safe enough that they could just share. Because for 20 years, maybe they weren't sharing anything. And they needed this space to allow higher consciousness to come in. And because they were able to share, a higher light came in and they started to feel better. And I think this is so much a big part of real therapy, is just making safe space for people to share. Because sometimes just the sharing is what people need. Just a safe space to share.
It's also very hard for a lot of people to share in this I, me world. Everything is how do I get ahead? How do I set myself up for the next thing? It's never how do we do it?
Wouldn't it be nice if we would listen to somebody else sharing? Because when you speak, yes, so you like the feeling that you're getting higher makifin. So you're speaking all the time. So you're getting more insight coming in. But wouldn't it be nice that you could appreciate that maybe he also wants makifin? He also wants higher states of consciousness? And that you could be quiet enough to listen to him, that you could receive from him? I think that'd be a wonderful thing. To allow space to really share. And I wonder if the world feels that we give each other space. Do we give each other space? Do we really give each other space to share? What do you say? Do we give each other space to share? Or are we always looking to, get the right word in? do we make space for each other to share in our world today? Because it seems that if we can give each other space to share, so then he'll share something with you and then receive a higher consciousness. But almost until somebody shares, he's like closed up. I think a lot of times in like real trauma, when like kids have gone through trauma and things, they basically, a lot of the healing happens when they start talking. They just can start sharing because it's been so bottled up for so many years. And we could just make space to share. It's interesting, the world thinks, we need more like talkers. We need more leaders. I think we need more listeners.
But you said Tuckers for a second.
Tucker?
You could say that now because everyone has these devices and everyone thinks that their opinions matter so much that it's always about creating the next opinion, the next thing to say, but there's no like thinking about what's the next thing I should like listen to, like and internalize it. It's always what's the next thing to write, what's the next thing to say.
Imagine I would think.
The social media app just for listening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's YouTube, but
Imagine I would say, I would wake up in the morning, I would say to myself, how can I listen to people today? How can I make sure, is there a guy out there that I feel he needs a listening ear? Imagine waking up that. The way that mostly we wake up is like, how many people can I talk to today?
how many people can I make think like me?
That's right. So, and even though we do understand there's a place for das, and there's a place to give das, and we said you have to have a ben, ein khalifa islamoy, and you do have to talk. But the Rebbe then said, you know what the real talking is? With your friends, that you're each sharing with each other, and you're making space that each one has a place that he's heard, that you're really listening. And by the way, anybody here who's married, so you could probably answer the question, which is, when you're speaking to your spouse, and your spouse says back to you, yeah, but you're not listening to a single word I'm saying. And the guy's like, what do you mean? I can repeat every word back. Yeah, but you're not listening. Which means, technically, you might be able to parrot back the words. But she knows that your mind was somewhere else. She knows that you were just thinking about what you were going to say, as opposed to just making space to listen and to hear. Because once you can make space to listen and hear, then you're letting somebody else have makif and come into the higher levels.
Is that like creation itself? Like you have like a Hashem had to like pull himself back and separate to allow for the creation to happen.
So I want to listen to that a second, because that's very deep. We do see that Hashem made this amazing space. That the tzimtzum is like, it's a space, kaviyachol, where now in that space, a higher light could come in, and there's space for another. What's the space? The creation. If God would keep godding in his infinite way, there'd be no space for you and I.
It's the same, I guess, with friendships, you could say.
Yeah, the person could smother another person in a friendship. You could be like a dominant person in the friendship. Now, it could be you need a leader to pick the guy up. It could be you speak more than your friend. It could be you speak more than your spouse. But everybody needs to speak. And to really give a space for people to speak and to share is very, very important. So I see a lot of people here want to say that we do not give each other space to share. But I also see a significant amount of people that say that we, yes, give people space. So I would ask our friends that say that, yes, we give each other space to share. How do you do that? How do you give somebody else space to share? I want to listen to what you have to say. How do we give other people space to share? And where do you see that? that we really give each other space to share? Twitter? Do we really listen to the point that the guy made on Twitter, or just immediately ad hominem him right back? Do we really, okay, let me hear what you said.
To go look up who this guy's profile is, figure out who his person is, to see who he is besides the one thing he said, see the thing he said before that one thing.
Are we listening to the context that it's being said in?
Or it's just words, reaction.
That's right. I think when Mashiach comes, Twitter would be a great place. I think it's going to be, it could be a wonderful, wonderful place of sharing. But imagine we're all sharing and really listening to each other and talking with each other, not talking at each other. I think that would be a very beautiful place to really talk with each other. It's so beautiful to talk together, to hear ideas, to have real interfaith dialogue, to grow together, to learn from each other, to admit if you're wrong. We don't like to do that though, right? Because you stand by your flag. Put down your flags for a minute. Am I hearing what somebody is saying? Am I even just giving them space to listen? Things are so polarized nowadays. So two people go on Piers Morgan. You know what they're going to say before they even start talking because they already have an opinion fully figured out. Can we give space to really just hear properly and then address the points that are being made? That's really what yeshiva is all about. Yeshiva is here to teach you how to really hear a point. This came up in Shir, as we've had a big discussion about how to read a certain Rashi. And I really feel, I was reading Rashi in a certain way, and I really feel that one of the guys in the Shir had a much cleaner, better reading than me. So, what are you going to do? Like, the rabbi is wrong? I said, I think your reading in Rashi is actually much better. And we started to make the entire Shir based on that reading of Rashi. Because I think your reading of Rashi is actually much more honest. I think it's more truthful than the way that I was reading Rashi. And I gave space, and I was admitting I'm wrong. I think that my reading of Rashi can work, but I think that your reading of Rashi is better within understanding Tosfos. I think that you just have a better reading of Rashi. And therefore, I was so happy that he said it, because it's not about me being right, it's about finding truth together. That's the name of the game, Aliyah. Finding truth together. Finding truth together. So I want to know your tips to half the people here that are saying that we do give each other space to share. What are your tips? Because if we can give each other space to share, then we can allow more makifin to come into the world. So my friends, we're going to be picking up very soon. We have another shir at 3 o'clock, B'siyat D'Shmaya. And feel free to ask questions as much as possible. We'll do our best. Rabbi Nachum and Rabbi Eli do such an amazing job of receiving all of your comments. And we want to respond to them. We want to share. We want you to have a space that you can express. And we want to hear thoughts. We will say if people are coming from negativity and just hate. So try to speak in a way that you really feel there'll be a point that's heard, and then we could address that point, and we could speak on those points. Because the Torah that wants to hear everybody's point of view understands that if we're speaking hatefully to each other, so there's no place in the conversation that we even start. We're no longer speaking about ideas and ideals. We're just like, we're speaking against each other. Let's start as a framework right now that we're all starting at a playing field of we all have a love for each other. So let's just start with that. We all have a love for each other. And I hope that our friends around the world could open their hearts to say, you know what? I want to have a love for all human beings. So imagine starting the conversation. We have a love for every person. Now I want to hear what you have to say. And now, even if a person can be critical of the words that you're saying, but they're willing to talk about it, we could speak this out. If we're all looking for truth together, but we're starting with a basic human love for each other.
I got one question for you. Good one to answer. Charlie Lover wants to know, Yoshka, is the truth we can't come to God because of our sins? Is that true, or can anyone come to God despite their sins?
Anybody could come to God. Any single person. Any person could come to God. Very important. Just pick up the phone and call. Anybody could come to God. Even if a person has done, sadly, terrible things, talk to God about it. Talk to God. No human being is God. Only God. There are leaders, there are spiritual guides that can help us, but every single person, you are not born with sin. You are not cursed as a sinner. And I'll tell you a word that is the most non-Jewish word in the world. You are not doomed. We do not believe that there's a sin that you're doomed. You are good. Your soul is good. You may have gone off course and been enticed by your evil inclination. But if your essence is good, so come back to the goodness that's you. And then man up to the things that you did wrong. And take ownership of that. And speak that out with God. If you want a spiritual guide, someone that can help you to do that, I think that's a very good idea. It's just being wise. Is to seek people that have made good decisions in this world. So thank you, Charles, so much for sharing. We're going to pick up in about 20 minutes. It's so wonderful to learn together and to grow together. And remember, you are never doomed, my friends. Have a wonderful day.